Hey Walter, longtime fan, man. Good to have some of your time.
Well, thank you, Jesse, and thank you for that wonderful review.
Oh, thank you for checking it out. I really, when I wrote that, I was not expecting you to read it. So once I heard that you and the team and I saw Billy actually shared it today, it kind of blew my mind, man, because I'm a huge fan and like I really just ultimately appreciate everything that you've done for the community. So it was the least I could do, and I really appreciate you sharing your story, not only with arcades and love songs, but just kind of over the years. It really, you truly mean so much to the community, and it's the least I could do. So thank you.
Well, I was very, very impressed, and Ed Cunningham and I, the producer, both talked this, and we both he I'm almost speechless because I didn't know that a review could be that positive. It was just so nice and so touching, and I'm just you can see I'm almost speechless. I was just so touched by it. Thank you so much.
Well, speaking of that, there are a few questions that did pop up with, watching the film and kind of like things that I was kind of curious about when I was putting that together. And I guess right off the bat, what was it like kind of watching this film like unfold or like, all of the history and everything kind of be compiled into one, film? Because this is a lot different than the King of Kong and Man versus Snake, and I wasn't really sure what I was getting into. So until I sat down and actually watched it. So from your perspective, being the focus of the film, how did that feel to see it all kind of come together in such a positive, you know, product project in a positive way?
Well, it's a really well, first of all, there's a bunch of answers to that. One thing is it's real interesting uh how vulnerable it is to have your life completely spread out like that, just wide open for anybody to, you know, for everybody to absorb and for everybody to like it or not like it. So I'm so touched so far that all the people who've been giving reaction to it have been so positive and respectful and supportive and just acknowledging the fact that it's actually a bona fide good fun story, because when they were writing this, we are going through the process, throughout the whole process, Ed Cunningham had the vision, and I wasn't quite buying into it, like this is my story, but will other people care about it? And finally, it took them a lot of effort to figure out exactly the storyline so that all the elements properly worked together with each other so that it became a fun and humorous and interesting story and just capture the whole spirit. And the spirit is never, the spirit is all about never giving up your dreams. And there's always time, or hopefully always time, to accomplish everything you want to accomplish. So it was a very interesting genesis to see how this whole thing developed, how they put it together, and and almost to the very end, I was full of doubts that no one's going to care about this. This is going to be boring. But when I finally saw the final edit and I saw it at the Long Beach Art Theater, I was completely surprised, and I thought, this is not the same story that I watched a year ago or a year and a half ago when you made the first version of this. So this is so it just is it's an amazing process to me. It's so amazing to me that other people are embracing this story and finding it like a valuable lesson of, just community and comradeship and just never giving up and everybody's got a story.
The one thing, kind of going off of that question and jumping into like how relatable that is as a viewer that does know you. This is just a side of you that I wasn't really expecting to see, to be quite honest. But I once the story unfolded, I really enjoyed it, and it's nice to see a different side of you. Have you always kind of considered yourself an artist at heart, or was that kind of something that you recently discovered?
Well, you know what's interesting? Um, yeah, I live in a small town of 10,000 people, Fairfield, Iowa. And as I think I talked about it in like Chasing Ghosts, you familiar with Chasing Ghosts?
Yep.
And talked about it as uh, this town of 10,000 people, over 4,000 of them practice transcendental meditation. And so I practice transcendental meditation. It's famous for helping you unfold your creativity. So I have this already built-in tendency to try and unfold and bring up my creative intelligence, stuff like that from doing transcendental meditation. So when the music started appearing, it was like they worked hand in hand, and the music was able to express itself and grow better, become clearer and richer and unfolding, whatever. And so I think because of that, because of TM, I always had an artistic slant. And but the funny thing about it is that never did I think I was going to get up and sing in front of people. You know, what a horror show that would be, having to sing in front of people, how vulnerable and exposed I'd be. And so, but the music was so powerful and the emotions were so great that when the music started coming up, I vowed that someday I would get up on the stage and I would perform my music. So when I was dating this glamorous girl and she broke up with me, I was so heartbroken that I started like channeling. It was almost like I was channeling a radio station, and 138 songs came up over the period of a few years. And I just said, I vowed that someday, despite the fact I'd never sung and was afraid of singing, I would get up on the stage and I perform these songs. And that was my underlying, almost like my underlying desire for existence for all those years. And
Totally, yeah. There's so kind of going off of that, like the one of my favorite moments in the film is when you're really respectful about revealing the identity of the woman who inspired the music. And I really appreciated that. And obviously you can tell by the film, so did she. Even when asked directly, you still kind of you acknowledged it, but didn't reveal.
well,
How important was that boundary for you?
well, the thing is even though we're apart, I still adored her, and I would never hurt her.
Yeah.
And and she kind of left me in a hurtful way. I mean, in that I was crushed by the breakup, because it came out of the clear blue. But I never, even on the King of Kong, I never ever revealed who she was. I think I might have talked about it in Chasing Ghosts, and I never revealed who she was. And then in this movie now, I don't reveal who she was, but the course of the movie itself is revealing who she is. But to me, it still was important to me to adore her and respect her and uplift her and not do anything to harm her. So I just felt that it'd be best. It was my innate nature to not harm her and make her feel bad, make her feel on the spot.
Yeah, I love that moment, and I love the way that it was edited and kind of it just made the it made everything feel so much more real. And another thing that kind of stood out in the film to me was your relationship with Billy Mitchell. You know, he appears in the film in a very different light. You know, he's no longer the villain, but he's more of like a supportive friend. How would you describe that relationship with Billy now compared to the King of Kong days? And do you think like he's kind of evolved as a person over the years?
He has evolved as a person. He's kinder and more considerate. He sees other people's points of view better and more fully, more dynamically than he ever did before. And he's incredibly considerate, incredibly generous. He has a huge following, not just because, you know, he, he's he's a legend, but because he's also an extremely good-hearted, kind, generous, embracing human being. So he has a big following of people who revere him as a dear friend. So the movie King of Kong doesn't quite show the real Billy Mitchell. And this movie more so shows who he really is. So that's a very, very fine thing that everybody notes and is very amazed by because they're thinking he's going to be an arrogant guy, but he's not arrogant at all. It's just that when he plays this role, is he's a warrior out there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I really liked you know, that's not someone that we get to see that other side of. You know, we're used to you kind of playing that role, being the good guy. So it's kind of nice to see him being there to assist you along the way.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of, you know, admiration and people that, you know, that we learn about in this film, you know, you talk a little bit about your love for Taylor Swift. What has her music or persona, what resonates with you the most? And has there been any has anything changed since the recording of the film?
Well, here's the thing. Um, the filming of when I get up on the stage and perform, that's February 17th. of 2023. 1 month later, her Eras tour started. Who knew she was going to become as big as she became? I had, but before I got up on the stage and started talking about her, I had just discovered her just barely a month or so right before, and I didn't have all that stuff of being a Swiftie and stuff like that. I discovered her as a fellow songwriter, and when I discovered, I decided I have to see what other people are doing. I want to see what styles of writing, music, stuff like that. And I discovered Taylor Swift, and I go, my God, this woman is really good. And then as I studied it more, I began to realize that she wasn't just really good. She's possibly the best that was out there. And that's what I was kind of bringing out on the stage there. And and you see in the movie, I look at everybody and I say, almost gushing in astonishment, "Are you aware how good she is?"
Yeah,
And of course,
I
and of
love
course,
that.
everybody laughs because as Ed Cunningham points out when I talked to him about this, he says, "This was completely out of left field, Walter. I mean, people are used to 14-year-old girls gushing over Taylor Swift, and you're a 73-year-old man. So it was completely almost incongruous. But the thing is, and then I actually went to I went to the Eras tour. I
Yep.
actually went to it in Los Angeles, and they filmed me walk. They actually followed me with the cameras and filmed me walking to the crowds and going, I'm swiping my card and going in. And I'll tell you, the Eras tour was one of the most remarkable things I ever saw. Not only because the music is so good and because she's such a good performer, but the way the people are responding to this. This is a level of joy and camaraderie and psychological emotional involvement that probably has never happened in a concert before. This is like something completely new.
Yeah, it's funny because I have my own like little connection to Swift. I used to work at a music store, and her dad, before she was signed, would deliver the CDs to us by hand, so we would play them in the music store. So, she's been working at it for a while. Not maybe not as long as you, but at the same time, she definitely started from, that grassroots world and definitely pushed all her way to the top. So it's kind of nice to see how far she's came. And I guess kind of with that in mind, looking back at everything, the records, the championships, Twin Galaxies, and now the musical documentary, is this your crowning achievement? Is this what you're most proud of, or is it kind of a combination of everything that kind of got us here?
Well, um, I've never really quite thought whether this is what it wraps up a lot of things. It pulls a lot of things together and presents it to the public. And I love the fact that people are appreciating it in such a positive way. In fact, that to me is a surprising miracle. Like I think I've said, is this movie going to be enjoyed by other people? Is it going to be understood by other people? Is it going to be respected and embraced by other people? And so far, it looks like it's actually going to be a very successful, positive gift to, a gift to the world, and that people. I mean, there's a lot of positive themes inside this movie, and all of them are good to bring out at this time in history because the world is so negative. And when we were at the Long Beach Theater, Art Theater, the manager of the art theater came out afterwards and said to my producer, Ed Cunningham, she said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you for making this positive movie about good people." So it's really, this is the kind of thing that's needed at this point in time. And I'm so pleased that this movie, featuring me and my friends, could play that role in popular culture.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I did notice, in the credits they do mention that some of the songs have been released. Do you have any plans to move forward with any streaming or uh like any chance we could see this on Spotify soon? Because I feel like a lot of these songs are so catchy that they will be added to multiple playlists, and that reach is just going to extend that much further.
Oh yeah, the songs are going to go through. A CD is being produced, Spotify, everything like that. I have, I've signed with a uh, an agent, a producer, or whatever it is, whatever they call them, and they're going to have all that stuff happen.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
It'll have a normal trajectory through record release.
Sure. Yeah. Well, Walter, I truly appreciate your time. Here at CineDump, we let the doers know how they're doing, and you, sir, are doing just fine. Thank you so much for, not only allowing and opening up yourself to the world, but just being there and kind of making a lot of this stuff happen just because of who you are. I as soon as I saw King of Kong, you were on my short list of people that I wanted to go out of my way to interview. And I'm so stoked that it can finally come true because of probably the most like inspirational documentary I've seen in a long time. So thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Jesse.